For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
Being a night owl may quietly raise your risk of heart disease.
A new study in the Journal of the American Heart Association found adults who stay up late and work at night have a 16% higher risk of heart attack or stroke. Lead researcher Sina Kianar say
people who are strongly identified as night owls had noticeably poorer overall cardiovascular health, particularly more pronounced among women.
It's our biological clocks that have trouble adjusting, but there's good news. The majority of people can reverse the risk, like keeping a constant sleep schedule.
Things like activity, smoking, weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar.
Brad Gibson for CBS News.
Motley Crue has officially won a legal fight with former guitarist Mick Mars, ending a dispute that began after he stepped away from touring in 2022 for health reasons. An arbitrator ruled Mars must repay more than $750,000 in advance touring revenue. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
With multiple tri-state neuropathy centers treatment locations throughout the region, relief from peripheral neuropathy has never been more accessible and successful. Here's Sean Ritchie, founder and DC of Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, with one of his stories from helping over 15,000 patients regain their comfort, mobility, and quality of life.
James from Youngwood suffered for 10 years. He had all the symptoms of neuropathy, the numbness, the pain, the burning, the stabbing, even had these jumpy legs at night. It was destroying his life, and he had to quit his job. After going through our non-invasive treatment program, we were able to get him pain-free, sleeping again. In fact, he told me he went hunting this year and was able to do it without any problem.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help James. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000 for an initial free consultation. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy. Learn more at marydanston.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
There may still be a flurry around for the morning hours. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sun today with a high of 22. But tonight looks to be cloudy and rather cold with a low of just 4, followed by a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25, with Tuesday bringing even more clouds but less of a chill, high 30. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli.
Pittsburgh Mayor Corey O'Connor has been tested early on in his administration, and so far, he's passing. The city's public works fleet continues to be challenged after nearly a foot of snow fell last weekend. But Mayor O'Connor has been tireless while keeping the public in the know. Ability starts with availability, and he is constantly giving updates. He appeared on KDKA Radio 3 separate times the day after the historic storm. Then, on Thursday, O'Connor, along with UPMC, announced a one-time gift of $10 million to the city that will go toward buying new emergency vehicles. The money will pay for 9 new ambulances and 1 rescue truck this year, along with 35 new Department Works vehicles and more EMS vehicles in 2027. Friday, the mayor received a $2 million commitment from PNC Bank to buy 15 new plow trucks. O'Connor will face more challenges in the coming weeks, months, and years, but this is how true leaders lead. He is out in front of the issues and facing the challenges head on. The stage does not appear to be too big for Mayor O'Connor. So far, so good.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
President Donald Trump said yesterday that he has instructed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem not to intervene with protesters occurring in the city led by Democrats, unless local authorities ask for federal help amid mounting criticism of his administration's immigration crackdown. On his social media site, the president posted that under no circumstances are we going to participate in various poorly run Democratic cities with regard to their protest and or riots until they ask us for help. That is good leadership. Homan ends up there speaking, putting a lid on the situation, restoring calm, if you will, and the president follows up by making changes, but more importantly, making a major statement saying, look, don't want to put my agents in harm's way, do not want to put the citizenship in harm's way, so we're going to put it into the hands of these cities. And if they happen to be obviously run by Democrats, simply put, the ball is in their court. They will have the final say, and if they need our help, we're just a phone call away. I like it. I'm curious to see what you have to say, and I know the phones are lighting up already, and we'll get to them in a moment, but I want to say this. The thing that no one will ever be able to say about President Donald J. Trump, that he is not a man of action. This situation obviously boiled over, and tragically 2 people lost their life. In my opinion, needlessly. It should have never happened, but it did. But instead of sitting back and letting the legal aspect of it play out and possibly get even more engulfed and more shootings taking place and possibly, sadly, even more killings, he took it upon himself to do what good leaders do. He took a giant step in stopping the situation, defusing it, if you will. Now, whether or not that happens, we shall see. But isn't it interesting? This has not been that news story that we were watching unfold day after day, week after week, and it turned into month after month. But all of a sudden, since the president spoke, obviously Governor Walz calls him. They have a good conversation. The president says equally it was a good conversation. And now he takes Holman, gets him to Minnesota. He makes a statement, obviously directs Kristi Noem by saying, listen, only unless they reach out to us. If not, let them do what they feel they have the need to do, protest. But hopefully, because of this bold statement and directive, those who are protesting will take it upon themselves to basically dial it down, as I like to say. But good leadership, nonetheless, by our president. 866-391-1020. Look, that situation had to happen. It had to happen. He had to intervene. He had to do something, and he did exactly that. All right, a couple of other things. Now, you got a judge, on the other hand, who says that ICE can continue with their operations in that part of the country. So they get to continue. Now, ICE has to do exactly what I believe is necessary. They need to handle themselves with the most strict professionalism. They must be thinking everything through. They cannot act erratically. All of the paperwork must be in place. They have to show respect as much as these protesters need to show respect. Now, whether or not they can meet each other halfway, we shall see. All right, what else do I want to talk about? So 8 degrees above zero, the deep freeze continues, some snow coming down, so give yourself a little bit of extra time. I know other parts of the country are going to get blasted up and down the East Coast, especially in the Carolinas. We are going to be spared, or at least it looks that way, but you know as well as I do, winter weather can change literally on a dime, and we could end up getting snow again. But as of right now, it's just cold weather. But I also have seen AccuWeather and others that it's going to warm up later. So the mayor, as you heard in that editorial, and I couldn't agree more, getting rave reviews. And I've known Corey a long time, and I told all of you before this period started, when he was running, when he was elected, that you would see a shining example of what leadership is all about. Not to mean that he's the greatest politician that's ever lived, but he grew up around it. His father and I, good friends, I watched his father involved in some of the most incredible, intense situations ever, and he was always the guy that could actually calm things down, return to normal, if you will, make people understand that the cooler head prevails. And I knew, even though he may do things a little bit differently than his father, but it is in his DNA. It is in his psyche. It's in his thought process. It's who he is. It's who he was meant to be. He saw it at the kitchen table, saw it at the dining room table, saw it during holidays, saw it every day at the breakfast table before he left for school, saw it when he came home. The father basically looked at Pittsburgh as he did his own family. He loved it that much. And Corey being out there and on the radio, that calming voice in the background, giving people the alternative, saying, look, what am I going to do? But at least I know somebody's out there doing something for me. One of the things about leadership, we were just talking about it to begin the program, you have to lead by example. You have to be out there taking the ball, running with it, showing people that you're willing to do anything necessary to help them try to figure out whatever that problem may be. Now, it's going to get a little dicey when the weather does warm up because we've got these mounds of snow and that's going to melt. And then if you've been in this business or around Pittsburgh as long as I have, you know that can turn into flooding because we've got these things called three rivers. So he's going to continue to be tested. But the thing I like about him, not only is he out in front talking about it and why I'll give him 5 stars, but as you heard in the editorial, and we talked about yesterday, and I tried to talk about it even more, UPMC, $10 million. That's incredible. PNC Bank, $2 million. That's incredible. So a lot of things to talk about, but we began today talking about 2 stories, obviously different in nature, but what leadership can truly do when it's done the right way. Now, this cold weather will persist. Mary Hour is going to be here at the bottom of the hour, first alert forecast, KDKA television. So when the weather turns bad, as it is right now, and it's currently 6 degrees above zero, turn to KDKRadio.com for up-to-the-minute news, weather, traffic information from the KDK Radio Storm Center, brought to you by Duquesne Light Company, larger than light, only on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM, AM 1020. So call in now. We got an hour of open talk. We got a bonus hour at 9 o'clock. Tell you about that in a little bit. But you can also reach me, NASCO Roofing, instant access to our shows. A click away. Email us at instantAccess, KDKRadio.com. It's your Pratt Pack. Good morning.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at KennyRoss.com.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you, a Pittsburgh tradition. Pitt lost to Clemson 62-53 college hoops. Elsewhere in the region, WVU loses to Baylor 63-53. RMU and Purdue Fort Wayne. The Colonials lose 79-77. Pens have won their 6th straight. They defeated Mike Sullivan, their former coach, and the New York Rangers. The final was 6-5. Farmers Insurance Open. Justin Rose is running away with it. He is at 21 under and has a 6-shot lead heading into the 4th and final round. Alina Rybakino overpowered Arina Sabalenka to win the Australian Open title, while right now in Australia at the Rod Laver Tennis Center battling for the men's championship, it is Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. If Djokovic wins, he becomes the all-time winner as far as career Grand Slams in men's tennis action, and if Alcaraz wins, he is the youngest ever to win the career Grand Slam. More sports at 937thefan.com.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Throughout Black History Month, the city of Pittsburgh celebrates the spirit and heroism of the Vachon family. Downtown, on Friday evening, February 6th, join a reception in the City County Building Grand Lobby. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint chipping railings. Get your railings safe again by spring. Call 412-515-6575. Schley Deck and Fence. SchleyDeckCompany.com. PA 211 is a free confidential service available 24/7. If you're facing challenges with basic needs like food, insecurity, housing, or utility bills, help is just a phone call away. Dial 211 or PA211.org to connect with local resources today.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Hey, no one should have to face a winter without heat. You can help your neighbors in need stay warm by supporting the 2026 NRG KDKA Radio Warmathon, February 12th, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., presented by MediConnect, brought to you by Junk Luggers of Pittsburgh, Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union, Nest Expressions, Window Fashions, details KDKRadio.com, including online auction available now, powered by Dynegy. All right, here we go. Ted up on Mount Washington. Teddy Ballgame. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Rob?
Hey, man, everything's going on. We got lots of good stuff to happen today between now and 1 o'clock. How about you? So are you one of those night owls I heard in that report from CBS Radio News, or are you an early riser?
Well, a little bit of both.
Yeah, me too. I kind of split that, too, that spectrum. You're right.
A little bit of both. Well, with the president, real quick, all I can say is taco. Look, what else is he going to say? But do you remember? I'll put it this way. Do you remember David Koresh?
Yeah.
Remember what happened in Waco, Texas?
Yep.
Okay. Remember with the ATV and Reno and all that stuff and the disaster that happened? What did Congress do to the ATF? And that was a Republican Congress. They slashed the funding.
Yes, I
Pretty
remember.
much cut them.
You're right. I remember.
Okay.
I remember.
That's what's going to happen to ICE. But the Democrats are going to do it. Pretty much going to cut their funding. And it seems like to me, no matter what government organization you have, when they're doing their job, when the people don't like it, the funding always ends up getting cut. And guess what? We get terrorist attack. And that's what worries me. Does ICE need to be reformed? Yeah. But also, ICE needs to do their job. You still have dangerous, undocumented people in this country. And we wouldn't be in that position if the border was not open by a Democratic president. And what Congress should do a couple of things. You do need immigration reform, and that should be bipartisan. And also, the next president, whoever it is, Congress should produce legislation to make it harder for that president to ever open up the border again. They need to do their job. To me, this lies at the feet of Congress not doing their job. That's what it is doing. And both Democrat and Republican are using immigration as a political
That's
football
exactly right. Exactly right, Teddy.
And they're getting away with murder. And now Americans are getting killed for, because the Congress not doing their job. And both Democrat and Republicans should be ashamed of themselves. And it should be voted out. And I wish people will get the hint that these guys are not governing. They're not doing their job at all. I mean, this is what I said before. Trump got voted in to do exactly what he's doing. Okay? And I'm going to be honest, I wish he wouldn't have backed down. Wish he wouldn't have, because sanctuary cities are illegal.
Well, so let me, you bring up, whoa, Teddy, you bring up a very good point. Let me throw this out to the audience. With the president telling Kristi Noem, do not interfere unless you are asked to interfere, is that a sign of the president backing down? I never looked at that from that angle. So what do you all think? 866-391-1020. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's what happened to Bill Clinton. Exactly what happened to him. Weakened his presidency. And then you had that Timothy McVeigh in Oklahoma bombing. You can't respond that way. The law is the law. If sanctuary, I wish they took it to the Supreme Court because these cities will lose. You cannot bypass federal law. You may not like it, but you can't do it. But like I said before, at the end, Congress needs to do their job. But as far as the mayor, I agree with you 1,000%. Cory Conner is shining. And I wish the county executive would get off her butt and do the same thing. Because that's what I want to see in a politician, man. Someone that's willing to get their hands dirty, that's willing to communicate, that's willing to be a roundtable guy and get things done. We haven't had that in 20 years. And thank goodness Cory Conner is at least starting it. So, living in Pittsburgh, hopefully we can get the businesses back because this draft is coming. We can get some of these buildings filled up and we can get it going on.
See, what I worry about, and it just frightens me that the American people are so naive that they don't realize this is all a political ploy. This is all this is. It's a political ploy. This has nothing to do with right or wrong. Sadly, they just use these stories to get at each other, and we think it's political fodder or it's real issues being discussed. Real issues are putting food on the table of the American people, keeping prices down, finding jobs that give people an affordable paycheck so they can go out and literally afford things. That's what being a politician is, not using a situation to where sadly two people died to turn it into point counterpoint and to see who can get the upper hand on the other party. That's not the way it's supposed to work.
Bob, that's exactly what I've been saying. Okay? I mean, you have to hold these guys accountable. You know, the Congress hasn't been doing anything. You know, and like you said yesterday, the shutdown is unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. Okay, then they don't want to do legislation anymore. They haven't passed a budget in 30 years, and I'm telling you, these guys don't care anymore.
They don't.
And you know, and it's sad because we elect these guys to do their job, and they're not doing it. They don't even communicate to the American people anymore. So until American people get fed up and actually,
but Teddy,
you know,
Teddy, they should have been fed up a long time ago.
Yes, you should be clear out about this. These guys are playing games with American lives, and they've been playing games, regardless of your political perspective. You got to understand we're all Americans. I don't care if you live in a blue state or a red state. Americans starve, okay? It doesn't make a difference. So we have to come together and take these bums out and get people in there that's going to do their job. They're not doing their job.
See, what I've seen happen here is that they have used us to basically fuel the fire to where they don't have to really go out and do their job, which is to create jobs, to make a better economy, to make the streets safer. Their job has turned into more of a soap opera and these lightning bolts that they throw at each other, and they have us basically, I believe that a lot of these politicians through the years, and I'm not just talking recently, have caused the great divide in America. They would rather see us at odds with each other than actually accomplishing legislation and executive orders that are going to make a difference. And this president, I think, has done more to do what a politician is supposed to do, like what Corey's done. That's what a politician is supposed to do.
Oh, absolutely. But Trump is unique because he comes from the private sector, okay? He comes from the real world. You got to remember, I'll never forget, God bless him, the late Jim Roddy. He always said this, man, and he was spot on. If you talk to most of your politicians, if you look at that background, they never worked in the private sector, okay? Never did. That's all they know is government. And Jim Roddy always said this. If you want to go in politics, the best thing to do is to work in the private sector first, then go into politics, because you'll find out, and he found out the hard way, that you have better a more edge over the person who never worked in the private sector. They don't know how to do a budget. They don't know how to do an audit. They never were forced to do it. So they come from the perspective of being part of a body and just not leading and just being yes guys. They have no clue what they're doing. And it's starting to show. That's what leadership is all about. Like you said before about O'Connor, his father worked in the private sector. He knows what business is all about, you know, I mean, which was brilliant because that's how you lead. When people know that, hey, you know, you actually work in the private sector, you know what it's like to make a payroll, okay? You can relate to those folks. That's what Corey O'Connor is doing. He knows those neighborhoods.
Well, let me tell you,
his father's taught him well.
The old adage, a good deal has to be good for both sides, and that's not my words. That's the words from, you know, a dear friend of mine. Bottom line is, those ambulances that UPMC is going to buy will help keep the streets cleaner, and they can get where they need to get to take care of the sick, obviously. Not ambulances, snow removal. They bought one ambulance. Those snow removal vehicles will actually make the buses be able to run to get their workers to work safely, to get people to visit people by driving to various hospitals, an ambulance to get people to hospitals. So I'm just saying they did that because they want to make a difference, but they also know it's good for their employees, and that's a good deal for both sides. And the mayor can actually do something for the people of Pittsburgh by having these brand spanking new vehicles to help with a snow removal process moving forward. So that's a win-win for both sides. And the generosity from UPMC is a shining example of what you can do when you communicate, correct?
Well, it's called small ball politics. Bill Clinton invented that. Basically, you take small issues and you get as much as you could get done. And guess what? It all adds up at the end. Most politicians don't take that approach. They look for a grand bargain when there's no grand bargain. Right? So you do these issues, low-hanging fruit, they all add up, and it shows to people you're getting things done. That's what Corey O'Connor is doing. Very easy. Gainey don't think that way. Most positive like him doesn't think that way.
The thing of it is, and I'm not going to point fingers at anybody because they are who they are and they all have good qualities, but what Corey has done from the jump, he's put himself out there. He is using the social media tools. He's using the media. Look, 3 times on the radio station during that storm. You didn't have to try to find him. All of us have his mobile number. We reach out to him. He's got the chain of command. But in situations like this, he picks up his phone. He returns text messages. That's what you're supposed to do. He utilizes the media for the tool it was meant to be, to communicate to the constituents. And look, you didn't have to look far for Corey during the storm. You didn't. All you had to do was scroll social media, turn on the radio, television. There he was. All right, 866-391-1020. Is the president backing down by telling Kristi Noem only wait to see if they reach out? I'm just kind of curious to hear what you have to say about that. 866-391-1020. Good morning.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. I've been a customer for over a decade. Why? Because the professional work CertaPro Painters does protects your home, quality paint, worry-free process, free estimates. That's why I've relied on CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
No one should have to face a winter without heat. You can help your neighbors in need stay warm by supporting the Dollar Energy Fund during our annual NRG KDKA Radio Warmathon on February 12th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Presented by MetaConnect. Details on how you can support are at KDKARadio.com. Powered by Dynegy and brought to you by Junk Luggers of Pittsburgh. Help us help your neighbor on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Bundle up. Meteorologist Andrew Kozak says a big winter storm producing high winds and bone-chilling temps is here.
200 million people, mainly across the east, are under cold weather alerts.
The extremely cold weather extending all the way down to Florida, where temps dropped into the 20s overnight. In Austin, Texas, thousands protested against the Trump administration's immigration crackdown yesterday. Representative James Tallarico led the rally.
It is time to tear down this secret police force and replace it with an agency that is actually going to promote public safety.
It is Grammy time.
The one to beat at tonight's Grammys is Kendrick Lamar. He has the most nominations with 9.
That's CBS's Deb Rodriguez. Lady Gaga's next with 7 nods. The Grammys will be hosted by Trevor Noah. For the 6th year in a row, they air live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS and Paramount+. CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A flurry may linger into the morning hours of today. Otherwise, clouds give way to some sunshine with a high of 22. But clouds build back in for tonight with a low falling to just 4, followed by a blend of clouds and sun tomorrow and a high of 25. For Tuesday, expect more clouds around, but it won't be quite as cold with a high of 30. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, I'll catch you on Monday. Hope you're having a great weekend. Colin Dunlap, hopefully you survive through this weekend. It's going to be bitter cold right now. Talk to you on Monday, 2 to 6, right here, KDK.
As always, you can listen to us at 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDK, or on that Odyssey app, AUDACY. But you can also watch us online with our KDK video stream presented by Metropolitan Window Company. Just go to KDKRadio.com and click on Watch KDK Radio Livestream. Or now you can just go to KDK Radio, our YouTube page, to watch everything we are doing in the studio. Like right now, I'm saying hello to George in Clareton. Good morning, George.
All right, how you doing? That was quick. To really polarize this with the president and to look like it's a back down or whatever, that's just going to inflame him all the more. And I think we know that, okay? It becomes like a rhetorical mess all over again. And the mayor, Corey, he's done a great job the past week. But you got to remember the week before, I'd say halfway through, so going back maybe 10, 11 days, and this is how I like to think. I like to go a little retroactive, and two foundations were laid. He made the statement, which I agree with. ICE was not really welcome, and we're not welcome to do anything to impede anybody seeking any kind of refuge in our city. Okay, I'm not a Pittsburgher, but I'm close to it. All right, and nothing much was said on his station. Okay, all I heard about that was maybe coming into Thursday, Colin talked about what was going to go on at Target with the protests. And again, this is a week and a half ago now. So I think to really just kind of rub something in Trump's face is just going to inflame him. And I would not doubt that some of your MAGA folks have a phone number, his bat phone, and say, hey, this is what's becoming of what you're doing, what your new actions are doing. So I'd let it go. I would diffuse it, but we're not going to do that because it doesn't sell.
Isn't it ironic? I never even thought of that, George, until my last caller, Teddy, brought it up. I thought he was like doing a noble thing, but could one look at it as though he knows that this is one he can't win? I mean, there's 2 people that are dead because of what happened.
Yeah, but he might go just berserk because he has such an ego and just keep going and just turn around because he's turned around and pivoted before. He's always on something somewhere. I'd say there's like 6 issues going on. Some you don't hear about. I try to review them in my head. Some you got to go back in the news the past month and see where we were. Venezuela was a month ago now. Okay, we don't talk about that as much. We don't talk about Iran and we do Iran now. That's new. But he can come back and go right back into this ice full speed ahead just for spite. So I would let it go, at least for right now.
Well, I like the fact that at least something was done. I mean, I wish it would have happened before. Sadly, no one should have lost their life, but 2 people, that's second death. I mean, you'd have thought we'd have had this thing stopped after Renee Good's death, but at least somebody did something, and honestly, that thought process, you heard that news clip from CBS Radio News about replacing ICE. I don't know if you could create anything after ICE that people would not be skeptical of. Look, people are skeptical of the CIA, the FBI. I mean, people are just skeptical of police in general, and that's tragic because the police are out there to do their job, these men and women to serve and protect. But people have become so paranoid in this country because they think it's a police state that they're afraid and they don't trust anyone. I know people that truly feel as though, hey, I should maybe reach out to the local police, but I don't want to get involved. I mean, that's sad when somebody knows there could be possibly something going on in the community they live in or their home or neighborhood, and they're afraid to reach out. I know people that have children who are dealing with issues and are afraid to call the police, and it shouldn't be that way in America.
Sure. And the police aren't often as approachable in their behalf. All they could do is make a move. It's been going on since the days of Ferguson, 2014, November. Someone could be videoing them and taking things out of context or whatever. It's a mess. This country is a mess. I would diffuse the whole Trump situation. I wouldn't even give him any attention. Set him in a corner, set him wherever he wants to be around the globe, give him no attention. But that's not going to go on. Someone like that needs no attention.
But let me ask you something. How would you make that possible with his true social media and all the other ways that he can communicate? And do you think any member of the press corps is going to say no when the president wants to talk? That's not going to happen.
That's the whole problem, and that's why it's not going to end. It's kind of like the old first Rambo when Mike Grenna said to what's his name, the sheriff, the one who was in Walking Tall. He said, "Hey, what you want to do is diffuse the situation."
Listen, that's what I talked about to begin the broadcast. At least somebody, Homan went, I think he did a really good job. I knew a little bit about the guy, but he went way up on that ladder of success when I saw him speak the way he did in Minneapolis. I mean, and he's a take charge kind of guy. And he was kind of rough around the edges. When I first kind of started to watch him, I'm like, man, this guy's got to back down a little bit. But he's leading by example. He has this ability to diffuse, to calm people down. He does it in maybe a different way, but he's that interview that I saw him basically give, and then he gave a speech. He really appeared to have a general interest in the passion aspect of it, with people losing their lives. And to me, you need compassion now more than ever, George. People need to know you're tough, you're a strong leader, but you care about the situation that they are in. And even though we've become so jaded in America, I think people generally can look into the eyes of someone and tell me whether or not they're telling the truth. I think we still have that part of empathy in our hearts. I really believe that.
Well, we got a lot of psychopaths and sociopaths running the game all over this earth. And I'll tell you what, wait till all this winter's over. You wait and see what happens come springtime and a long hot summer, bicentennial plus 50 summer coming up. There's going to be a lot of grudges. Just like I listened to a lot of people that were interviewed on January 1st from this station, and one of them said, "Hey, this pot is overboiled. It got to boil over before it seats itself again, thermometer-wise."
So you actually think there's going to be more violence in America because we're getting ready to celebrate this incredible 250th birthday? You think that's going to happen?
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. And I'm not going to quote the people, but there were 4 people interviewed, prominent people from this station on New Year's Day, and I got it in my little notepad, and I agree with every single one of them.
Hey, listen, good stuff. Have a great day. Stay warm.
All right. See you, man. Take it easy.
All right, be good, man. 866-391-1020. I don't know. Strange times we live in. All right, to Moon Township. Here's Keith. Keith, these are strange times. Your thoughts. Good morning.
Good morning, Rob. You know, my thoughts on this is Joe Biden has caused this big mess by letting all these people in. And these mayors and these governors in these blue states, they want this stuff to go on. And I bet 95% of the people of Minnesota and Minneapolis, they want these people out of there. What these mayors are doing wrong is, why do they capture a criminal, and he's illegally here, and they let him go out into the neighborhood again? Does that make a lick of sense?
Not really.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, these other people are scared to speak up because these rioters, these protesters are so crazy. They'll look you up and dox you and show up at your house and turn your life into holy you-know-what.
Well, you know what we're going to have to do? Let's see where this thing goes after. I think the president did a lot to diffuse it. Some may say backing down, but he did a lot to diffuse it. Keith, I appreciate the call. I got to move on now. Mary Hours, first alert forecast. So, Mary, it's right now 6 above 0 as expected, as you have been reporting on KDKA television. Now, I have heard it's going to warm up, but now we got this other thing happening where a couple 100 million people are going to be affected, mainly on the East Coast. So where do we come into this latest storm? Is it going to affect us at all?
No, thank goodness. No, I mean, we literally, so it's so far east, which is great. I saw pictures of people in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with snow on palm trees. Not a lot of snow, but still, I mean, that's a lot for areas in the South. So, we definitely are in a going to be in a break here from what we were dealing with. I mean, it was snow still out there, and we still have temperatures. I mean, it still feels below zero, but we'll at least make it to the 20s by Monday, near 30 there on Tuesday. It's still going to be pretty cold. I mean, highs in the 20s, lows in the teens, but it's better than negative 11.
Absolutely. Yeah, so yesterday was kind of a record-breaking day, was it not?
It was a record-breaking day. We broke the record set 5 below set back in 2019, and we haven't been that cold since that deep freeze of January '94. I was 4 years old then.
I know. I was a whole lot younger too. And I remember actually coming to work during that period. And then the year before that, we had that massive snowstorm in March. So hopefully we'll move into February and March and not have as much. But what lies ahead with this 5-day forecast? Can you tell me first alert-wise?
Yeah, for sure. So today we have temperatures into the upper teens. We'll actually have some sunshine around, and then low 20s for Monday, back near 30 on Tuesday, and our lows are in the teens. We stay with those low temperatures in the single digits or close to the low teens by Wednesday and Thursday, and then we do have the chance for snow showers on Friday, but we'll see our high temperature back around 30. The only thing that's not good with this is our high temperatures aren't above the freezing mark, so we're not going to see much melting with this snow at all.
Absolutely. Enjoy the sunshine for sure. Listen, have a wonderful day, safe drive in, and we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. Mary Hours up early on her way to the Golden Triangle, to where I spent decades working in that same building, Gateway 1, getting ready for the KDK Television Sunday Morning News. Okay, a couple of more minutes if you want to jump in here, but we are going to have an extra hour of open talk. We're going to focus more on what's happening in the national scene, but we're also going to start taking a peek at the gubernatorial race between the governor and Stacey Garrity. We're also going to be talking about the Democratic ticket. Now, our governor has been making a lot of appearances of late on CBS This Morning, also Stephen Colbert. But Gavin Newsom seems to be gaining momentum. Going to talk about why I believe that is. So we have a lot to get to in that 9 o'clock hour, an extra hour, if you will, of open talk. And, of course, 7 o'clock, it is the Organic Gardener with Doug. And then it's the Coons Cooking Hour with Frank Dentisi, who will actually be here in just a little bit for us to record some commercials that you're going to hear next week. In the 10 o'clock hour, Accurate Solutions. And then we have for you the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. And we're going to kick off with Joe Giordano from IMG Academy in Florida. A bit of a preview of the Pirates, which pitchers and catchers will be heading to Bradenton in a couple of weeks. He, of course, the former Pitt Panther University baseball coach. And Ray Fittipaldo, some football as well, too. All still to come with your Pratt Pack, KDKA. Good morning.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKARadio.com. News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you, a Pittsburgh tradition. Pitt lost to Clemson 62-53 college hoops. Elsewhere in the region, WVU loses to Baylor 63-53. RMU and Purdue Fort Wayne, the Colonials lose 79-77. Pens have won their 6th straight. They defeated Mike Sullivan, their former coach, and the New York Rangers. The final was 6-5. Farmers Insurance Open, Justin Rose is running away with it. He is at 21 under and has a 6-shot lead heading into the 4th and final round. Alina Rybakino overpowered Arina Sabalenka to win the Australian Open title, while right now in Australia at the Rod Laver Tennis Center battling for the men's championship, it is Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. If Djokovic wins, he becomes the all-time winner as far as career Grand Slams in men's tennis action, and if Alcaraz wins, he is the youngest ever to win the career Grand Slam. More sports at 937thefan.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, so you tell me, what else can the president do, okay? You have these illegals, and they are going after the bad guys, as Mr. Holman responded many times in his recent statements in Minneapolis. Look, the bad people, those are the ones, the undesirables. We're not going after those who are in this country and maybe need to get their paperwork in order, who are holding down jobs just to make ends meet and going out and living a law-abiding life. So what do we do? So do you realize, and again, no one should have died, nor do you want anybody to meet any kind of violence of any kind on either side. But when you live in a country of 333 million people with a $38 trillion debt, companies going under, communities disappearing from the face of the earth because there is no manufacturing, there is no retail, there is no business, there is nothing. It's long gone, generations removed. And you have the criminal element moving in and preying on the people who are living there, stuck in a world of nothing, in neutral, if you will, because they can't find a better way. So what do you do when these cartels are making billions of dollars and killing our people every day from one generation after the next because of the illegal drug use? He attacks it as far as Venezuela, those vehicles, those means of bringing drugs into our country, those vessels. He's blowing them out of the water, using our military. Delta Force goes in, takes the leader that is working with the cartels out of Venezuela. That person is behind bars now, and he's trying to get those who have filtered into this country that are not only in this country, not legally, but also heinous criminals who've committed horrific crimes. Rape, murder, dealing drugs, killing people, literally unsolved murder after unsolved murder, all documented stuff. What I worry about, and I'm not saying that this is a sign of the president weakening a little bit, but I think his heart is saying, look, I got 2 American people killed in a situation that I have to find a way to stop this violence and get back on a solid foundation. And I have to make people on the other side that are protesting believe in government and our Constitution, and I really do have their best interest at heart. So he does this. And now he's telling Kristi Noem, don't interfere unless you're being asked. And there now is such a line in the sand that even if they know that there is certain things that have to be changed and taken care of, they will not do it because of the anger that they have towards the Trump administration. So what does that mean? That means law-abiding citizens that are caught up in the middle are going to have to pay the price. And to me, that's the injustice. The law-abiding citizen will have to continue to be preyed upon by these illegals who are working for these cartels and are in this country doing horrific acts every day. So a meeting of the minds. The only people that can change the narrative, the only ones that can make a difference in this country, happen to be in that capital that is Washington, D.C. Leaders of the Democratic and the Republican Party must come together, form a summit, if you will, about how they can actually turn the tide by making it a safer and better place for people to live, by working together, by creating a stronger work base, to let people know we are working every day as a Democratic and Republican Party under our flag, our Constitution, our democracy, to work for you, the American people. The Democrats say we will tell our constituents to back down. We ask you to reel it in. So the president does reel it in. He does talk to Kristi Noem. So once again, I'm telling my fellow Democrats in Washington, the ball is in your court. You cannot talk about, I'm not going to fund the Department of Homeland Security. We're going to have a partial government shutdown because we don't like how you're handling things. And in reality, they may think they're walking softly and carrying a big stick, but the only person that they are hurting are the same people that elected them into office to give them the privilege to represent their community, their district, their state. Somebody has got to understand the only way that this stuff gets back to where it needs to be, square one, that we're all one, is by talking and telling, stop the violence, stop the protesting. Look, I've watched some of these protesters, and this is not protesting. As much as I am not saying either side, right or wrong, I want the violence to stop. I want the killings to stop. I want people showing up with battering rams, going into people's houses and scaring innocent children who, by no fault of their own, are caught up in a situation that obviously they couldn't control. I don't want to see that in America. There's too many things in history that we go back and remember those days. I grew up in the 60s. I saw what happened in the Deep South with civil rights. It's frightening. It's scary. I don't want my children and grandchildren to have to look at this stuff every day, nor families go through it. And God forbid what happened to these two individuals who were shot and killed. But I know this, we have to find a way to get the criminal element out. And these protesters have to understand, because it's become so overblown. It's the reason Barack Obama did what he did. And Joe Biden trying to, I'm sure, think that, well, these people will come here and they will do it the way that they did it decades ago with Ellis Island. I'm not saying he wasn't worried about the criminal element. I think maybe he thought this would actually work and it could actually stimulate the economy by some of these jobs that were going unfilled would actually get filled and people would go about it the old-fashioned way, getting a green card and subsequently some years later becoming an American citizen, be sworn in and have a flag flying from their front porch the rest of their time in this country. Well, it didn't work because the cartels found a way. Look, the cartels are a major illegal corporation. They make as much as some of the major blue-chip companies in the world, because they have had the ability to get drugs into places like the United States. And when it's coming from South America, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. They're not going across an ocean. They're going over a landmass, and they are finding one way after the other, bold ways to bring it into our country, to where they have destroyed the human element in our country. Because this human element has been without a good job, a good paying, life-sustaining job that would go from one generation to the next since the early 80s. It became an epidemic in the 90s. And by then, literally thousands, tens of thousands, millions now have died in one form or another because of these illegal drugs that continue to pour in our country. And now people are pointing fingers and blaming when the law enforcement of that community is getting tougher and rougher and doing things that may not seem status quo. They don't understand what these folks are fighting and what they're doing. So what happens? Frustration, anger. I get it. Been there, done that. Finger pointing, pushing, shoving. And then subsequently what happens? You have two people dead. So I hope that many of you will look at what the president did by saying, only unless we are asked, sends Homan to that just horrible situation in Minneapolis to calm down the people and to stop the rhetoric, which I think he has. And now with the president basically saying, I will be the first to say, let's work this out. Maybe now we can get back to some sort of communicating. And I'm saying right now, if you're a Democrat and you're in Washington, D.C., he may have bent a little, but he didn't break. But now I think he has made it very clear. Democratic-led cities is exactly what his words were on True Social Media. You now have to take the ball and run with it in those cities and say, look, we have got a window here. We have an opportunity to not have to deal with ICE. So don't make us look bad and don't let these protesters go on, because if they go on with ICE no more in the picture, it's going to look like they are the single reason why we've been dealing with what we've been dealing with. Now, if they disperse and walk away, then we may have an opportunity, that window, to sit down and stop this stuff from happening again and be one nation again. a United States of America. But if they continue to protest and stay in the streets and are there day after day with no ICE in sight, then shame on them. So now it's about cooler heads, clear thinking, compassion, and communicating. That's the next step in stopping this senseless violence. All right, stay with us. Rob Taylor next with the news at 6, and then Tech Vibe Radio with your Pratt Pack.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Time is now as people want to get their tax situation squared away. It's Cole, Benoni, Wilson.
So many changes. Even the tax professionals were double checking the rules. There's dozens. You know, you're seeing them, like you said, on the federal and state by state adjustments, inflation updates.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA. Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Throughout Black History Month, the city of Pittsburgh celebrates the spirit and heroism of the Vachon family. Downtown, on Friday evening, February 6th, join a reception in the City County Building Grand Lobby. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint chipping railings. Get your railings safe again by spring. Call 412-515-6575. Schley Deck and Fence. SchleyDeckCompany.com. PA 211 is a free confidential service available 24/7. If you're facing challenges with basic needs like food, insecurity, housing, or utility bills, help is just a phone call away. Dial 211 or PA211.org to connect with local resources today.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 6 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 6 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. A Wilkinsburg man is under arrest after police say he kidnapped, assaulted, and then stole a woman's vehicle. Police say 34-year-old Jermaine Turner went to a woman's house in Wilkinsburg on Tuesday night and refused to leave. Police say the next day when they drove to a bank to withdraw money, the woman told employees to call police, and Turner allegedly fled the scene in the woman's car. Police found Turner on Friday in the 7300 block of Monticello Street in Homewood. Turner is in the Allegheny County Jail awaiting a February 9th preliminary hearing. The woman was transported to the hospital for her injuries. Well, the fire that occurred at the Mather apartment building in Morgan Township, Greene County, was so massive it destroyed the entire building, and now the building will be demolished. That fire began around 3 o'clock on Saturday morning at the building that's on 3rd Street. At least 3 people were taken to the hospital. The building had 10 apartment units. Jefferson Morgan School District said monetary donations and gift cards for those who were displaced are being accepted at the Jefferson Fire Hall. Donations are also being accepted at the Greene County Salvation Army. Well, officials are warning people not to walk on the ice that's built up on Pittsburgh's 3 rivers. A number of people did just that on Saturday, walking from the North Shore to Point State Park on the icy river. 2 young children were also spotted on the ice. It's not illegal to walk on the icy rivers, but according to local meteorologists, it's risky. Well, the Grammy Awards will be handed out on CBS and Paramount Plus tonight. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez with a preview.
Apologies, I want to see you geeked up. The one to beat at tonight's Grammys is Kendrick Lamar. He has the most nominations with 9. Lady Gaga is next with 7 nods. This guy seems to be everywhere leading up to the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny, nominated for 6 Grammys, is a favorite for Album of the Year. Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters is a strong contender for Song of the Year. A possible game changer, the 3,800 creators and professionals who joined the Recording Academy last year. Many are young, female, and people of color. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Once again, the Grammys kick off from the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, 8 o'clock tonight on CBS. Trevor Noah is the host. KDK Radio News Time 6:03. The AccuWeather forecast next.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. Pick up for 40 days of consistent scent. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 platinum preferred